the old coincidental things gone on. We have just played Status Quo.
Is that Rick Parfitt coming on?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we've got him organised. If that would be a pretty handy thing to do. No, in fact, we had a chap called Pete Robinson who is part of an organisation /band/group/ whatever you want to call it, called 12 Gold Bars, and they are celebrating the music of Status Quo. It's coming to Geelong. Hello to you, Pete.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Neil and Rob.
Now, Pete, before we get started, I want to do the right thing and let people... We have people on here that have got a lot of credibility, skill, talent, but if for those of you who don't know Pete Robinson, I have seen this man play guitar live in Geelong at the Piano Bar, and he is good, damn good. Highly skilled. We'll get into how good you are and how much you enjoy it, but you look like you really have fun playing guitar, Pete.
No, I certainly do. It's all I know how to do, really. But it's a lot of fun, always fun.
And to be backing someone of the quality of Russell Morris, and it looks to me like Russell just says, Pete, you just do whatever you like. And that was the beauty of it. You look like you were just having fun and being, showing off a bit, I suppose.
Well, I'm in the entertainment industry. I'm there to entertain.
Well, allegedly so are we, but there's no evidence to us doing that.
Hopefully that'll change after this morning. No, well, where does it all start for you? Where does a young man decide that he wants to play the guitar?
Well, guitar I got for Christmas when I was 8 years old. I think that's where it started, and I never put it down. So that was a long time ago.
So in a music family for that reason?
My dad was a singer in a band. My brothers all play an instrument as well. My mum sings in the church choir, so yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. And she was quite famous as well, wasn't she? They wrote a song about her.
This is right, yes, they did.
Sorry, it had to be said. It was there. It was sitting up outside off stump. I just had to whack it through the covers for 4.
And it worked.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent. Yes, the 8-year-old guitar recipient, was that something you'd wanted, or is it something that someone said, "Here, play an instrument"?
Well, to be honest, I don't remember, but I think it was. My brother told me that I did used to play a guitar in my like a little ukulele thing with my grandfather I've come from England, and when we were in England, that's what I used to do. But I don't remember doing that. But so when I got one, to me it felt like it was just a surprise, and I went, "Oh, okay." Yeah. And I just started. Didn't have any lessons, because back then there wasn't any. Playing guitar wasn't really a thing. Well, it was a thing, but it wasn't something that you wanted to do as a profession.
So at what stage of your life did you start to look at other guitarists and maybe model, want to copy, get really not so much jealous of, but inspired by?
Well, it was probably even back then, I can't remember. I think Countdown was a thing back then, and just watching music videos and on there and waiting for something. And just seeing somebody play guitar was just, I was in awe. I was just, wow, I want, my whole goal was to get an electric guitar so I could be just like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I was always fascinated by is I had a guitar also, and interestingly, we're talking to you as a guitarist and not to me. I couldn't play the guitar any better than... I certainly wasn't playing guitar just like ringing a bell. To me, there was this thing where it was mechanical until it became something you just sort of did. I suppose a bit like learning to drive a car or fly a plane. How old were you when you got to the stage where you thought, yeah, I actually don't have to learn this, I just need to play it?
Look, you're learning all the time. I mean, it's...
Yeah, sorry, that makes sense, yes.
You are learning all the time. So I mean, I still think that I know I can play pretty competently now, but I'm still learning stuff. I'm still different techniques, different styles, different ways of playing. Even when I'm learning the Status Quo stuff, even though you think it's 3 chords or whatever, I did actually learn a lot from that, because I thought I knew all the songs from when I was a kid. So because I used to just play along with Status Quo all the time. But it wasn't until I actually knuckled down and started learning it that I realised, wow, there's a lot more to this than what I thought.
Yeah, well, I was, as a kid, I assumed that there was only sort of 14 chords you needed to worry about, A to G, and then A to G minor, that was it. It's a bit more complex than that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess so, but all those chords can be used anywhere up the fretboard, and they apparently call a different name. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Unless you've been a wicketkeeper for a while, in which case you can't run your fingers up the fretboard anymore. That's the other issue.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly different styles of playing the guitar, and I suppose I'm searching for names, but Mark Knopfler and the dude that plays in Pink Floyd, what's his name? Dave Gilmour. Just watching them, and I was watching the fella in the Pink Floyd tribute band that came here recently, just watching the absolute skill, the speed of movement of fingers. It's certainly a difference between playing the guitar and playing at the level that you do. And you say it's an ongoing practice, but how often do you practice? What hours of the day would you spend playing the guitar?
Quite well. Actually, I play every day. I whether it's learning other songs or whether it's just sometimes writing a song or just because I'm bored.
Yeah.
There's lots of so I play every day. I really do. So it's unusual that I don't. I mean, I've got a lot of guitars here, so it's hard to not walk past one anyway. So you just walk past, pick one up, and just play it. Or I play every day. So yes. Practice is always going on. Was that the question? I can't remember.
Well, it is, and it's probably intrigues me too, is that the fact that you've got lots, because I do hear that guitarists, and I've got a mate who has about 14 of them, and they all serve different purposes, and that's the other part about training yourself, picking up a Spanish guitar as opposed to an electric guitar. How much different does that require your technique?
Well, there's obviously different things you can play on, and they all do different things. But essentially, you can play Spanish guitar on an electric guitar. It just won't sound like a Spanish guitar. So, there's different things that you do on different guitars, and I mean, essentially, you only need 4 really.
Yeah. Shh! Don't tell anybody in the house.
I know. I tell myself that every day when I buy a new one.
A couple of different styles. I see, going back to the Countdown days, I can recall seeing some with guitars that had 2 stems and 12 strings. But ultimately, it seems we go back to 1 stem and 6 strings is the way to go. Have you dabbled in the other styles?
I do. I have all of the above. I have all those things. I was actually just, when you call it a stem, I'm assuming that's the neck of the guitar.
Yeah, that's it. That's him.
Yeah. He just wanted to make sure that you were genuinely a guitarist.
Yeah.
I actually just restrung my my double neck guitar, last night, waiting for this impending cyclone to come in. So I do have one of those. I have. And with Russell, when we used to do acoustic shows, I always played a 12-string acoustic, which he always thought was quite unusual because I was playing lead guitar on a 12-string acoustic, which was kind of hard, but I did it.
But I guess it gives a different sound, and therefore makes it's I guess a bit like having a different voice.
Yeah, well, it does, and it fills the sound a lot more because you've got the full and bigness of a 12-string guitar, which was always nice.
On this show, we are unabashed fans. Neil more so because he had the privilege of meeting Russell Morris, but I've always loved his music from a child. How did you two get together?
That was through. I'm also in another band called. I still am, called Electric Mary in Melbourne, and the bass player of that band, he was working with Russell at the time, and this was back in 2004, and he said to me, Russell's looking for a guitar player. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, I'd love to. And that was just how it all happened. So I went in and auditioned. The audition was actually for Russell. Russell and Brian Cadd were doing a show together, and so the audition was for those two, and then after that, Russell just took me on board as his guitar player.
Do you recall playing at the Deakin University campus in Geelong in about that era? Because I went to see Russell and Brian Cadd and loved it, and there was some other dude standing in the back playing the guitar. It was probably you.
Yeah, that was probably in my shy days when I just stood in the background. It would have been me. Yeah, that would have been early days of those gigs.
Yeah.
So your early start, picking up a guitar as an 8-year-old to being on stage with someone who's an absolute legend of Australian music is obviously a journey. At what point did you go, actually, you know what? I don't need to get brackets a real job, close brackets. I could do this as a job.
Well, Well, that started back in when I was. I'm from Brisbane, and I moved to Melbourne, and then I came back to Brisbane. But when I was living in Brisbane here, I did have a day job, funnily enough, and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. So, and I was in a band, and I was in other cover bands that were just touring around us up in North Queensland and doing all things like that. And that's when that started. I just thought, I really just want to do this. And so since then, I've had bits of jobs here and there just to make ends meet. But eventually, it all came to fruition, and getting together with Russell was a big thing for me. It made me. Allowed me to actually make a living out of it, which has been very good, very, very nice for the last 20 odd years.
Last time I spoke to Russell, it was in preparation, or might have been just after the concerts with the orchestra, and I'm assuming you were part of that.
Yes.
And he was saying that basically on day one, I think it was day one was in Melbourne, then day two in Sydney. He basically met the orchestra for the first time on that day at the rehearsal, and then went out and played. How hard is it to basically change bands halfway? Well, orchestras in this case.
Look, the orchestras were all brilliant on all the shows that we did all around Australia, but because a lot of it is to do with the conductor. I mean, obviously the orchestra people are professional, they know what they're doing, but they're pretty much reading a script kind of thing. They've got a thing in front of them. Everything that we're doing is to a click track. So that then everyone's in the same place, everyone's in time. If you can't really do it like a live band though, like a rock band, because if Russell makes a mistake and wants to come in a bar later, you can't do that with an orchestra. So they were the hard things, but it was everything went really smooth. It was quite impressive. And I didn't hear the orchestra actually until the recorded version came out. Because in my head, if I heard the orchestra, it would throw me, because coming from a rock band thing, I only needed to hear drums, bass, guitar, and vocals.
Yep.
So that's what I heard. I heard ambient orchestra stuff. I knew they were behind me because there was 50 odd of them.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I listened to the recorded version, and I just got like goosebumps, and I'm like, wow, this is insane.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I would describe it.
It was superb.
Yeah.
Pete, I want to preface my remarks by saying I've seen you play, I know how good you are. You have no reason to feel out of place amongst legendary rock performers. But Russell Morris, was there an aura about him when you met and started to work with him, or is he just, as he comes across, just a bloke who can sing and play guitar? But he certainly has an aura because of his history. And you talk about being a shy fella. What was it like for you to connect with him first up?
Well, initially I was quite nervous going into an audition for two guys that I'd only seen on Countdown, really. So that was the initial thing, was that, and then after that it was just I did the audition. He went, "Should we get some lunch?" We went out and had lunch, and from then on it's just been like, oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Been this guy that I'll tell you a funny story though. When I first spoke to him on the phone, he said, he's old, he's coming from old school, which I am as well. But and he just said, "Oh, I'll bring the tapes over. This is for me to learn the song." So he said, "I'll bring the tapes over for you to learn." So I'm frantically looking around for my tape deck. Anyway, he brought CDs over. Called tapes.
Well, it's a bit like the AFL coaches. Until I see the tape on Monday, it's probably not a tape anymore, fella.
No, it's not. It's just a digital format.
Yeah.
So, Pete, what's the future hold? What do you want to do with your skill now that you haven't already done?
Well, I think I've done pretty much everything. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I have been able to do everything that I've looked, to do with a musical career. I've toured the world. I've played live in many of the biggest stages that I've always wanted to play at, and so I've done a lot. But I mean, there's always things you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you've ticked one off this morning, haven't you?
doing an interview with you guys?
Duh. What do you think we meant?
Just on that, and Pete, we alluded to it and had a bit of a laugh about it, and it's already been brought up. Status Quo to us looked like very simplistic rock and roll, and I think about you, having seen you play anything but that. What is the difficulty of the Status Quo music that still would entertain someone of your skill to want to do? Because it looks and sounds pretty bloody easy.
Well, there's, look, some of it is easy. The skill involved is actually, because it's all boogie and it's all, you've got, if you don't get that, then it doesn't sound right. So a lot of the challenge is getting the feel of the Status Quo song. And so playing that is a challenge. I mean, it's a great challenge. I love it. And Francis Rossi was, you might not know it, but was quite an incredible guitar player, playing guitar solos and things like that. So learning his way of playing and that was a challenge as well. Even though I grew up with that music from when I was 10 years old, so that's been a big challenge for me. So. But it's been great. I've enjoyed every minute, and even now because normally if you learn a song, you kind of get sick of the song. You go, oh God, I don't want to play this song again. But I go back and I run over these songs for the next shows that are coming up, and I just love it. I absolutely love it. Just getting the sounds and the groove and the solos in,
and being able to swing your guitar according to the choreography, so you don't whack the bloke next door.
Of course, and also having that hair to swing, when you're doing the.
Well, I'm pretty sure you would have no understanding of what I mean by this, but as a very, very competent air guitarist, Status Quo was definitely my favourite band.
Oh, it was. I do have experience with that, but I used a tennis racket back in.
Yeah, I had a guitar and made a racket, but that was about the extent of it. Now you are coming to Victoria, and there are 3 shows lined up, and we should give them a bit of a plug. The first one of those is at the Frankston Arts Centre, known to all over on that side of town as the Fart Centre, on Friday, March 21, which is 2 weeks away, thereabouts.
Yeah, thereabouts. Yep.
Then you're coming to the beautiful city by the bay, and you're going to be at the Wool Exchange. Now, a little bit of Status Quo featuring Pete Robinson at the Wool Exchange Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that,
no,
does it?
Doesn't.
No, no.
Yeah.
That's Saturday the 22nd, so that's 2 weeks today. And then you've got that, I've heard of it. It's a corner hotel in Richmond. I think there's been a few others played there. On Sunday, March the 23rd. I'm assuming that's a daytime show, or is it a nighttime show?
Yeah, it's a daytime one.
So, Rob, there you go, mate. You have to go out. You can go up to the corner in Richmond. And so I know this is a dumb question, but what can people expect coming along to see 12 Gold Bars, a celebration of Status Quo?
Well, a lot of double denim. I think that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Well, Rob won't have to dress up. He can just go in his normal gear.
Yeah, not stonewash, though. You can't wear stonewash. That's venturing into the 80s. It's got to be just the normal Levi double denim thing,
He's off to Just Jeans the Savo now, or some other jeans.
Does it have to be ironed?
No, that's the thing. No.
Good. That helps.
Do you iron denim? I didn't think you did.
Oh, Mum used to.
Oh, damn! With that line down the middle.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yep. You got it.
Yep.
The old trim lines.
And presumably lots and lots of music.
Absolutely, it's a great night of boogie rock and roll. It's awesome. I love it, and the people love it too. And it's great. The best part is because most of the people that are coming, they're all Status Quo heads. They just love Status Quo. They know everything about Status Quo, everything. And so we'll be playing a song, and they refer to the live version, and they'll sing things out, which the crowd does from back in the 70s. Certain parts of the song, and you just go, wow, these guys just love Status Quo.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how long does the show go for?
I'm not sure. It goes for about an hour all up. If we play a full set all the way through, it goes for about an hour 20.
Yep.
If it's cut in half, it'll go for probably close to 2 hours.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a good lot of entertainment. And I'm assuming you get tickets at the Wool Exchange Hotel will be the place to go.
Yeah, definitely. And there are some other outlets. I think Oztix or something like that.
Okay, we'll track it down. We'll stick it on our socials. Now, one question I have to ask. The album that I own at home that is Status Quo's greatest hits is called 12 Gold Bars. And I just assumed it was because there were 12 songs on the CD. Your show was called 12 Gold Bars. What's the significance of 12 Gold Bars?
Well, we're pretty much playing that whole. Well, we do. We play that whole album,
Right.
Gold Bars, and with some extras. So
Okay.
we play. Yeah, that's it's our celebration of that was one of the albums that most people who know Status Quo would have.
Yep.
So that was kind of where that came from. Just to call it 12 Gold Bars, a celebration of Status Quo, and
I would have looked an idiot if you had said it was their number one hit, wouldn't I?
Oh, you've never heard it?
and I don't need help to look like an idiot. I do that most Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Pete, thank you very much. You are a star of the industry, a name that maybe not many people will know, but if they've seen you play, they'll know, like me and Neil, who did catch you at the piano bar in Geelong with Russell Morris. You are quite okay at doing what you do, and we wish you best with this tour and look forward to seeing you in town again.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys, and I appreciate all the nice words. I really do.
And if you do look for Pete on social media, he is Pete Robinson, not Peter Robinson, like the 9 million other people who are called Peter Robinson.
Exactly.
And remember, he's the English version, not the Scottish version. Robinson.
Yes.
Not
exactly.
Robertson, as I thought.
Yeah, and unlike an announcer on our previous show, No Names, his name's Rob, who introduced you as Peter Robertson. So we have to...
Yeah, I made mistakes. I'm a Scottish heritage, Pete. I apologise.
That's quite all right.
Thanks, Pete. We might see you at the Wool Exchange in a couple of weeks.
Best wishes, mate.
All right.
Cheers, mate. All the best.
Mate.